the transversal. And you realize that these angles are equal. Reason dates back to the knowledge in trigonometry where we learned of alternate angles. And we realize that alternate angles are always equal. So in this case, we can assume that the angle between our transversal and our equator is theta degrees. Now the same case applies to our latitude C. All that we need to do is again draw a transversal line that is going to join the plane that is formed at the equator and the plane that is formed at our latitude C. And by the help of this line, we can now measure the angle that is subtended at the center between our equator and the transversal that meets the center of the earth and our latitude C. And for this case, we can assume that our angle is beta degrees. Similarly, our angle beta is alternate to the angle that is formed at the point where our transversal meets our latitude C. So that is basically in a nutshell how we measure latitudes. Let us look at the example that we have here. If you asked what is the angle of or what is latitude A, you will definitely say that latitude E is 30 degrees to the north, and reason being 30 degrees, the angle that has been subtended at this between the equator and latitude E is 30 degrees. What about latitude F? It is 60 degrees to the south of the equator. And how you have arrived at that measurement is that the angle that has been subtended between the equator and latitude F is 60 degrees to the south of it. And that is how, in a nutshell, you measure latitudes. Now, on the other hand, meridians are measured degrees west or east of the prime meridian. Remember that we say that the prime meridian is the centermost meridian, and all other meridians or longitudes are measured degrees east or west of it. Now, if you look at the diagram or the representation that you have here, you realize we have a number of meridians, and they are either to the left side or the right side of our prime meridian, or rather to the east or west side of our prime meridian. The farther away a meridian is from the prime meridian, the more the degrees are from the prime meridian. And the closer it is to the prime meridian, the less the degrees that denote its measurement. Like for instance, if we look at this longitude that we have here, it is 60 degrees east of the prime meridian, while this one on the left hand side is 40 degrees west of the prime meridian. Simply, when we measure meridians, we usually measure the angle that is subtended at the center of the earth between the prime meridian and a given meridian. Why do we talk of the center of the earth? Now, if we look at our globe and cut it at the equator, that is at the center, we're going to have plane like the one that is visible here. Now, on this plane, we can be able to see that the prime meridian is at the center of all the meridians, and it is denoted by 0 degrees. And all these other meridians are either to the east of it or to the west of it. If we are to measure how far a given meridian is from the prime meridian, then all that we have to do is to measure an angle that is subtended between a given meridian and the prime meridian, keeping in mind a curve is going to be formed between the said meridian and the prime meridian at the equator. Well, this can be clearly depicted or shown in the diagram that we have here. Let's say that we have meridian C, and our prime meridian is denoted by A. And we also do have another meridian or longitude that is denoted by letter B, as seen here. So we can be able to see that there is an arc that has been formed owing to the fact that the equator joins the prime meridian and our meridian C. And the angle that is subtended by this arc at the center of the earth can be measured, and that is what we refer to as the longitude of that meridian. And for instance, meridian C here subtends an angle at the center of the earth that is denoted by alpha, and it is to the west of the prime meridian, while our meridian B subtends an angle of theta degrees at the center of the earth by an arc that has been formed at the equator between our meridian B and the prime meridian A. Remember that this one is to the east of the prime meridian. So that is basically how we do measure meridians. We can go to look at actual examples that we have here. If you look at longitude B here, it is 60 degrees to the east of the prime meridian. And how did we come about this measurement? We measured the angle that is subtended by the arc between the prime meridian and our meridian B here to achieve 60 degrees. But where is it located? It is located 60 degrees to the east of the prime meridian, while our meridian A is 120 degrees to the west of our prime meridian. And how we achieved it? Same case, measuring the angle that is formed by the arc between our meridian A and our prime meridian to achieve the angle 120 degrees west of it. From this presentation, from this diagram that we have here, it's possible to see that the maximum angle that can be measured to the east or west of our prime meridian is 180 degrees. So a view from the North Pole also gives us a similar view as cutting our globe at the center or at the equator. It's possible to see that at the North Pole you can be able to see the various meridians, because all the meridians usually meet at the center or meet at the North Poles and South Poles. So from the North Pole, you are in a position of now seeing the various meridians that we have, and you can be able to see that the maximum angle that can be measured from the Greenwich meridian is 180 degrees, and all these other meridians have been measured from the Greenwich meridian. With that, we have come to the end of our lesson today. But what have we learned on today's lesson? We have looked at the various definitions of various terms that are used on this topic. We have looked at what a latitude is, and we've basically said that a latitude is a measurement of how far north or south a location is from the equator. We've looked at what an equator is, and we've said that an equator is an imaginary line that circles the earth at 0 degrees latitude. We also looked at what the definition of what a longitude is, and we say that a longitude is a measurement of how far east or west a location is from the prime meridian. Then define what the prime meridian is. We say that is an imaginary line that runs from north to south and is usually found at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, England, or it actually passes through the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, England. Without forgetting the fact that we've looked at very important points, that you have a great circle and a small circle. A great circle is a circle that is formed by longitudes and the equator, while all the circles that are formed by latitudes other than the equator are what we refer to as small circles. We've realized that the maximum angle of measurement of all longitudes is 180 degrees, while the maximum angle that can be measured for all latitude is 90 degrees. I hope that you have enjoyed today's lesson and you have learned something new or reinforced what you learned in school. Kindly, if you have learned something new from today's lesson, you can hit the subscribe button that is at the bottom of your screen if you never did that at the onset of today's lesson. Don't forget to share this platform with your friends, relatives, colleagues, anyone that you deem would benefit from these lessons that we present on this platform. Don't also forget to leave us a comment on how you find these lessons, and ring that bell so that whenever we update any lesson on this platform or any content on this platform, you are the first person to be notified. I don't take for granted you taking your time to listen and watch this lesson. From me is lots of gratitude. Until next time, my name is Mr. Lewis Mweberi Obare, your facilitator for today's lesson.